Cop opened fire on a black man in a suit. 10 minutes later, he realized he shot the district judge. "Hands where I can see them. Now." The words cracked through the morning air like a whip. Officer Brent Harlan had already drawn his Glock. His eyes narrowed on the tall black man in the charcoal suit crossing 7th and Pine. A briefcase swung at his side. His pace was calm. Too calm, Brent thought. "Hey, stop right there," Brent barked again, boots pounding the sidewalk. The man turned slowly, raising both hands. "Is there a problem, officer?" The voice was even, educated. It didn't matter. Brent saw the suit, the skin, and the confidence, and felt challenged. "Keep your hands where I can see them," Brent shouted, stepping closer. A street vendor dropped his coffee. A mother pulled her child behind her. Sirens echoed in the distance, but none of them stopped. "I said, is there a problem?" the man repeated. No fear, just confusion. Calm. Brent's heart raced. This wasn't normal. Most people panicked. But this man, he just stood there like he belonged here, like he owned the street. And then Brent swore he saw the man's right hand twitch toward the briefcase. Pop! 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 3 rounds tore through the crisp morning. Glass shattered behind him. Screams followed like thunder after lightning. The man fell hard onto the concrete. Blood began to bloom beneath him, dark and wet. Brent approached slowly, the adrenaline high smothering any hint of hesitation. He nudged the briefcase with his boot. No weapon, only papers, legal documents. A leather folder embroidered with gold letters, United States District Court, confidential. A phone rang on the man's belt. Brent snatched it up, trying to silence it. "Judge Franklin?" a voice crackled through. "We're still waiting on you at the courthouse. Your security detail is inside. Where are you?" Brent froze. The voice kept talking. "The mayor's here. The governor, too. You were supposed to deliver the ruling on Valor Watch's injunction." "Judge Franklin?" Brent looked down again, really looked. The face was familiar now. He'd seen it in news articles, courtrooms, even on the wall inside the precinct. District Judge Langston Franklin. Oh, God. Brent's hand trembled. No. 10 minutes later, downtown was crawling with press, flashing lights and uniforms. Captain Lomas arrived first. He yanked Brent aside before the cameras swarmed. "What the hell did you do?" "I thought he moved toward his bag. I didn't recognize him. He looked suspicious." Lomas glared at him like he was radioactive. "You shot a sitting federal judge, in broad daylight, on his way to court. Do you know what this means?" Brent didn't answer. His ears rang louder than the sirens. "You've just put every investigation we've buried back under a spotlight," Lomas growled. "He was ruling on our contract today. Valor Watch. The same firm you and I both." He stopped himself, eyes flickering toward the reporters. Paramedics surrounded Franklin's body, now loaded onto a stretcher. His chest rose, barely. He was alive, but barely. And he'd seen Brent's face. Hours passed. Brent was in a conference room with 2 IA officers and a lawyer who wouldn't stop sweating. "Did he threaten you?" one of them asked. "No," Brent muttered. "Did he reach for a weapon?" "I thought he did. I thought—" "You thought?" The agent flipped a pen between his fingers. "You had no probable cause. You didn't ID yourself properly, and you ignored multiple bystander warnings. Do you know how many cameras were rolling?" Brent stared blankly at the table. The door burst open. In walked a man in a sharp navy suit. Tall, bald, scars across his left cheek. U.S. Attorney Marshall Bryant. He didn't sit. He tossed a file on the table. "Your department's contract with Valor Watch Security. Sealed documents, signed approvals, and a private email chain between you, Captain Lomas, and the CEO of Valor Watch. That's racketeering, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice." Brent's blood ran cold. "You were the muscle," Bryant continued. "Franklin was about to gut your operation in court this morning. Valor Watch's billion-dollar bid to expand into civilian enforcement? He was going to shut it all down. I didn't know, Brent began. Oh, you knew. That's why your captain sent you to follow him, and you pulled the trigger like they expected you to. Bryant leaned in, eyes hard. But you messed up. He's not dead, and he woke up 20 minutes ago. Brent's head snapped up, and the first thing he said was your name. The courthouse was under lockdown the next day. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Reporters packed every corner of the marble steps. Inside, Judge Langston Franklin, his chest bandaged, jaw bruised, entered the courtroom with slow, deliberate steps. But his eyes were clear, piercing. He stood behind the bench, robes wrapped around his frail frame like armor. "Before we begin today's hearing," he said, voice steady, "I want to address the incident outside this courthouse yesterday." The gallery fell silent. I was shot by an officer who claims he feared for his life. I wore a suit. I carried a briefcase. I walked without threat. Yet I was presumed guilty, presumed dangerous, presumed disposable. He paused. That officer wasn't alone. He was part of a system tied to a corporation with contracts worth millions, contracts I was prepared to strike down because they preyed on fear, targeted the poor, and replaced justice with profit. Murmurs rose in the gallery. Reporters scribbled furiously. Judge Franklin raised a document. "This is my signed order. Effective immediately, Valor Watch's contract with the city is void. All pending cases involving misconduct by officers tied to this company are reopened, and a federal investigation into corruption within this department begins today." Brent, now in custody, sat in the back of the courtroom, shackled. Judge Franklin looked straight at him. "Justice will not be silenced by bullets. It will not be intimidated by uniforms, and it sure as hell will not be bought." Outside, chants echoed in the street. A crowd of hundreds, maybe thousands, calling his name. Langston Franklin stepped down from the bench, pain in every step, but dignity in every movement. For once, justice had worn a black man's face, and it had survived. Disclaimer: this story is a fictional dramatization created for entertainment purposes only.